Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us. Are you ready for this one? We're diving into a book that caused quite a stir back in the 1800s, The Gospel According to Spiritism.
Oh, yeah, this one is a wild ride.
It is. Now, before you think this is just another dry book review, trust me, we're going deep. We're talking about blending Christianity with Spiritism.
Yeah, it's really interesting how this book tries to bring those two together.
Right. And to make things even juicier, the Catholic Church got involved.
Ah, they definitely did not just sit that one out.
Nope, not at all. So we'll be checking out what the Wikipedia article on the book has to say.
Always a reliable source, right?
It's a starting point, but I think you'll find this is way more interesting than just an encyclopedia entry. So buckle up because we're about to unpack some seriously intriguing ideas. This book doesn't just interpret the Gospels, it throws some real curveballs our way. So, to kick things off, who was this Allan Kardec guy anyway? What was he all about?
All right, so picture this. It's 19th century France, and new ideas are popping up everywhere.
The Enlightenment had just happened, so everyone was thinking about things in new ways.
Exactly. And Kardec, he was an educator who got totally swept up in this growing fascination with talking to spirits. But here's the thing. Kardec wasn't content with just, spooky stories and seances.
He wanted some hard evidence.
Yeah, he truly believed that Spiritism, talking to spirits, was a real, legitimate science.
Science. That's a bold statement.
Tell me about it. He thought it was like this key to unlocking all the secrets of the afterlife. He was really on to something.
Okay, so we've got the whole talking to spirits thing down, but where does the whole gospel part come into play?
That is the million-dollar question.
Why try to connect it with Christianity?
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Kardec, he wasn't content with keeping these spirit messages separate from established religion.
He wanted to find a way to make them work together.
He really did. He was convinced that Spiritism actually offered a brand new way to understand the teachings of Jesus, particularly through the Gospels.
So he's saying, hey everybody, forget what you thought you knew about the Bible. I've got the inside scoop straight from the spirit world.
You could say that. He even went so far as to argue that the current translations of the Gospels, the ones we all know, we're missing some pretty crucial stuff.
Like they'd been misinterpreted or something.
Yeah, something like that. And he believed that only through Spiritism could we really grasp what Jesus was truly getting at.
Wow, that's a pretty bold claim.
And get this, he didn't stop there. This is where Kardec takes us on a wild ride. He brings in all sorts of other ideas like positivism, that philosophy all about scientific knowledge, and then throws in evolution, reincarnation, even karma for good measure. It's like he created this giant spiritual melting pot of ideas.
Talk about ambitious. It's no wonder the Catholic Church wasn't exactly thrilled about this, right?
Oh, not thrilled is an understatement.
Wow.
Let's just say they were not fans. They ended up banning the book.
Wow, banned by the church. That's intense. Shows you how much of a threat they saw in his ideas.
Definitely ruffled some feathers, that's for sure.
Okay, so we've got this controversial book, banned by the church, shaking things up. But let's dig in. What's actually in this book? How does Kardec present his argument?
The book's structure might surprise you. It's not just him ranting about traditional interpretations.
He's not just saying, hey, the church is wrong and here's why.
Right. It's more thoughtful than that. He starts with an introduction, setting the stage, but then dives into the Gospels themselves. Chapter by chapter, he analyzes them through the lens of Spiritism.
Going right to the source. That's interesting. I guess that's where these Spiritist interpretations really come out, right?
Absolutely. It's like he's saying, look, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at the Gospels together with fresh eyes,
Okay, yeah, I get it.
And through all this analysis, he pulls out these core principles, almost like, spiritual laws that he sees governing our existence.
All right, you've got me hooked. Give me the highlights. What are some of these spiritual laws, according to Kardec?
Okay, one of the big ones, one that really stuck with me, is this idea of continuous revelation.
Continuous revelation.
Yeah, Kardec argues that God, he didn't just stop communicating after the Bible. It's an ongoing thing.
So God is still chatting with us.
That's the idea. Revelation is always happening, always evolving, and each one builds on what came before.
Huh. So it's not about clinging to one fixed interpretation forever, but being open to our understanding evolving. That's actually, I gotta say, pretty intriguing. What else?
All right, fasten your seatbelt, because this next one's a biggie. Reincarnation.
Oh, here we go. Reincarnation. That's a big one for sure.
Yeah, Kardec saying our souls, they don't just have one life. We cycle through multiple lifetimes, learning, growing with each one, until we reach, like, true spiritual enlightenment.
Wow. Multiple tries to get it right. That puts a whole new perspective on things. It's not just this one life, but this much bigger journey for our souls.
Amazing.
Amazing. Okay, what else did Kardec lay out there?
So he also brings up this really beautiful concept of universal salvation.
Universal salvation. Okay.
And basically, he believed that everyone, and I mean everyone, will ultimately find their way back to God. Might take some of us a little longer than others.
A few extra lifetimes for some of us, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe even thousands of lifetimes, who knows? But the idea is that no one is eternally damned. Everyone has the potential to reconnect with the divine.
So there's this underlying hopefulness to it all.
Mhm.
Even when we mess up, even when things are tough, there's this path towards growth, towards connection with something bigger than ourselves. This is really making me think.
See, that's the power of Kardec's writing. He takes these complex spiritual ideas, often drawing on tons of different traditions, and makes them relatable, makes us really think about the big questions.
Yeah, it's like he's offering us a different way of looking at the world. And not just a different way, but a different way to understand our place in it all.
Exactly. And, this is where that positivism thing we were talking about comes into play.
Right, that emphasis on scientific knowledge.
Yeah, Kardec isn't just saying, hey, believe all this stuff because the spirits told me so. He's trying to apply this more scientific approach, observing, analyzing, drawing conclusions from the information he's receiving.
So it's not just about blind faith, but about seeking understanding, looking for evidence, even within a spiritual context. I like that. We've covered a lot of fascinating ground here today, haven't we? I mean, we've talked about Kardec's life, dug into the structure and arguments in the gospel according to Spiritism, and unpacked these mind-blowing Spiritist principles. But I have to ask, and this is something I think about a lot, why does any of this matter to us today? I mean, this book came out over 150 years ago, right? So are these ideas really still relevant in the 21st century? What do you think?
It's a great question, and honestly, it's one of the things that makes studying Kardec so fascinating to me. We might not read his work and think, oh yeah, I agree with everything this guy says. But here's the thing. The gospel, according to Spiritism, it forces us to confront questions that are, well, they're timeless, really.
Right,
Like
the big ones.
Exactly. Questions about God, about what happens after we die, about why we're even here in the first place. Humans have been wrestling with these questions for centuries, no matter what they believe.
It's like Kardec is shining a light on these huge universal mysteries that we all grapple with.
Absolutely. He's encouraging us to look beyond dogma, beyond those set-in-stone beliefs, and explore these mysteries with, like, open minds and hearts. And in doing that, he's also saying, hey, what if there's more to the story than you initially thought? And that's a powerful message, whether you're devoutly religious, a total skeptic, or somewhere in between.
It reminds me of that quote, the unexamined life is not worth living. I feel like Kardec is really echoing that idea. He wants us to question our assumptions, to really think about these big ideas and arrive at our own understanding of the world around us.
And I love that he doesn't just leave us hanging with a vague call to action.
Right. It's not just go think for yourselves.
Exactly. He actually offers a framework, a new way of looking at the Bible, and even just our own lived experiences.
It's like he's handing us a new pair of glasses and saying, here, try these on, see the world in a new way. And even if we decide, nah, these glasses aren't for me, just the act of trying them on, of considering a different perspective, can totally change how we see things.
Yes, 100%. And that, to me, is the real legacy of the gospel according to Spiritism. It's more than just this book about a specific spiritual movement. It's a reminder that we should always be questioning, always be searching for knowledge, and always be open to the idea that our understanding of, well, everything can evolve.
That's what I love about these deep dives. We started with a Wikipedia article, and look where we ended up, talking about the nature of belief, existence, the great beyond. It's amazing.
It is. It's about uncovering those hidden depths, those layers of insight, and hopefully leaving our listeners with even more questions, questions that'll spark their own journey of discovery.
So as you go about your day, dear listeners, we'll leave you with this thought. If, like Spiritism suggests, spiritual knowledge is always unfolding, what's next for us? What incredible insights are waiting to be discovered? What paradigm shifts are just around the corner? Keep those questions in mind, and until next time, keep on exploring.